we're also remembering his resurrection, or his death and his resurrection. Okay? Now, I would say it this way. We're not just remembering his death and resurrection. We should be remembering everything. We should remember that he chose to give up part of who he was as God, come to this earth, live in human form like us, face all the temptations that we faced, get it right, even though we don't, and then was able to be the sacrifice that we needed. Okay? We need to remember that in a few hours after he did this, he was arrested. He was put on trial in front of some high priests and Pilate, and he was unfairly beaten. He was unfairly convicted. They chose a murderer over him to be let loose so that he could be crucified. Then they beat him. Then they made him drag his cross toward where he was going to be crucified. And he fell, and he fell, and he fell, until finally they got somebody else to do it. Then they put him on that cross, and they nailed nails in his wrists. And then they put the cross in the ground. And he would have to lift himself so that he could breathe with those nails stuck in his wrists. And then ultimately they pierced his side with a spear, and all his blood drained out. And then he died. That's what we're remembering. But the cool thing is we're also remembering that 3 days later, he wasn't dead anymore. That he was resurrected. That when Mary and the other ladies got there, and like all of a sudden he's gone, they're like, where is he? And then all of a sudden he shows up. And then Peter and John find out about it, and they run to the tomb. And they found out that he was resurrected, that all of those things that he had been saying that they didn't really understand came true. That now he was resurrected. He had died and been resurrected so that we can be forgiven. So it's a remembrance of his death and his resurrection.